Welcome back, everyone, to the Fantasy 15. It's week 11. And yes, this is a different look for Ryan and I. And we have a little bit of a mix up for the format for you this week. So, Ryan, welcome back to the show. He's my co host. And for this segment, so we talked about last week, Ryan and I wanted to do the ultimate lineup live. That way, when we're doing our
Ah,
draft, you guys kind of get to see the back and forth, a little bit of, I don't know, inside look of us trying to beat each other in this ultimate lineup format. But in order to do that, I didn't want to share any secrets and give away my top 15 at each position. So Ryan knew who I liked this
mhm.
week. So uh, hopefully you guys all like this. As far as this being a little bit of a different format, we're still going to give you the top 15 like we usually do, but instead we're going to start it off by reviewing what happened last week with our top 15.
I
Or
always
sorry,
skip
with
that
our
part.
ultimate lineup. No,
We
with
can
our
just
ultimate
we
lineup.
should yeah, we could just skip that part.
I
What
think
happened last week?
I think the people want to see what happened last week, Ryan.
Hey,
So
they don't wanna see what happened.
honestly, I thought I was going down in flames, Ryan. Uh, you
Uh,
had you had Jonathan Taylor that started off on Thursday Night Football, or sorry, on Sunday morning, and he just totally went off. So
mhm.
not only did you have Jonathan Taylor go off for almost 40, you also had Gibbs almost go off for 40, and I really thought you were going to take me down, and there was no chance that I had getting back into this. I mean, take a look at your
Uh,
lineup and
I mean, it was my receivers, just AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson laying eggs. That was tough.
I mean,
That was
Thursday night.
tough. Justin Jefferson had, like, 20 targets, though.
Yeah, that accuracy for JJ, Thursday night you had Bowers and Broncos going, and it
Yeah.
probably wasn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, the Broncos were hot for you. Bowers, he got a couple targets early, and then, I don't know if it was just the Broncos defense or just the Raiders. Gino couldn't get him the ball, but it just wasn't happening, for him. But
Yeah,
I thought,
Broncos
sorry, go ahead.
defense is nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they did great. So you absolutely pegged the right defense for sure. But great picks, Jonathan Taylor, Gibbs, those were great ones. Just unfortunately, other than Josh Allen, the rest of your lineup just didn't step up to the plate. I was fairly solid all the way through, and
Mhm.
that's what carried me to the victory. So week 10, I get the win. I'm 5-1. Ryan, you're 1-5, which means you get to go first. So as we get into this, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be trying to live take this down. So you guys won't get to see necessarily the picks one by one. I'll try to throw them into the chat so you guys could see them, and then later on the show, I'll go ahead and make the adjustments to the lineup. That way, you guys have an opportunity to see who we've chosen for the ultimate lineup in a finished, polished format. But throughout the show, if you guys have questions, make sure if you're not already following us on X, that's at fantasy 15 FB. And then also make sure that it's the same on YouTube. You can go ahead and do a search for fantasy 15 football, and you'll be able to find us. You can also check us out on Spotify. All of these episodes are then uploaded to Spotify. And last week we started the TikToks rolling, so make sure that you're following us there. Same thing after this show. We'll make sure that we have some other TikToks rolling. But please support us. Any comments that you guys have, go ahead and drop them in X, YouTube. So if you have questions on who to sit, who to start, or any trade scenario questions, go ahead and ask Ryan or I, and we'll try to answer them the best that we possibly can. And we'll go ahead and start it off. As far as the ultimate lineup goes, Ryan, you get the first pick. So it's
Well, looking at the schedule this week, there's a lot of interesting matchups. And it was really tough for me going through trying to figure out who I'm going to take number 1. But after a lot of debate back and forth, I'm heading all the way out to España, and I'm taking Devon Achane. in the Spain matchup against the Commanders. The Commanders have lost back-to-back games by more than 20 points. So I'm taking the Dolphins, Devon H. Number one.
I hate that pick. And the reason I hate that pick is that was who I wanted for my pick.
Let's go.
That was a very sneaky pick. Wow. So you're kind of putting me in a little bit of a bind. Well, I think I'm just gonna go with what makes sense here, and I'm gonna go ahead and take I'm gonna take Christian McCaffrey again this week, and I think this one's gonna pay off for me this week big.
Yeah,
So
I mean, they got a favorable matchup against the Cardinals this week, so I don't think that that's a bad pick at all. And his usage rate, especially with the amount of injuries they have, I can never go wrong with CMC. So you should be all right there. I don't hate it at all for you, but I hope you're wrong.
All right, next pick back to you.
All right, with my number 2 overall pick, I just think this guy at this point has proven that he's going to get the ball in enormous amount of times. And he's clearly having the best season of all wide receivers so far. Give me JSN.
All right. I see how this week's going to go already.
This target after target, reception after reception, the deep balls. He has the whole route tree, and he's obviously Darnold's favorite receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it may not be the most favorable defense that they're playing right now because the Rams are balling. There's no question about it. And Stafford is looking like the MVP. But luckily, JSN doesn't have to face the Rams offense.
You are making me think here now. I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson.
Okay. I like Bijan this week too. I mean, it's a home game against a divisional opponent in Carolina. If they're smart, they'll use them. That's always the case with the Falcons. So the thing is, Tyler Algier is so tough inside the red zone.
Yes, that was tough. He vultured 2 touchdowns last week, which was upsetting for sure. But I do think that they have a favorable matchup for Carolina, and this can't continue with Algier getting that many touchdown vultures. So, Bijan is going to get his receptions. He is going to get, touches running the ball. It just can't continue. He's going to get in the end zone this week.
Right. All right. I am going to go to another divisional matchup. And this time we're heading to the AFC and the AFC North. And I'm taking Ja'Marr Chase versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
This is going to be rough for me this week. Wait until you see my top 15.
Oh, no.
This is going to be rough for me. This is going to be rough.
Well, it's Joe Flacco loves him some Ja'Marr Chase. So it's kind of hard not to take him. And I need a win bad, so I'm not taking chances here.
Well, I got to do it before you get the trifecta here, and I'm going to go Puka Nacua.
All right. He was definitely on the list. I think that matchup in general, I'm really looking forward to watching that game.
That game is fireworks, man.
Yeah, it should be fun. All right. So I have 2 receivers, 1 running back. I think I'm going to keep the ball on the ground here. And I'm torn between 2, and it's tough. But the way that Philly's defense and defensive line has been playing, I'm just too hesitant, and I have to go to the other side and give me Saquon Barkley versus the Lions.
He did that.
I just I like the way that, I'm sorry, I don't like the way that the Lions play against the run a whole lot. We even saw Minnesota kind of shove it down their throat, get bullied a little bit, and I think that Philly's gonna have a bone to pick, and it's gonna be the Barkley show against the Lions. I think that game it's a Sunday night game in Philly. I think there could be some fireworks in that game too.
Wow. That's how that's went so far, huh?
What's that?
I'm just that one kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah. I kind of figured it would, but
I am going to go ahead. See, I feel like I don't need to do this, but I might do it. Oh my gosh. I'm going to hate myself for doing this. Oh my gosh, this is tough. This is tough. This is a tough one. I kind of want you to make my decision for me.
You do that.
I know. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with Josh Allen.
Oh, well,
So
tried and true.
So I'm gonna have you make my decision in a different area, which I think that you will.
Yeah. I think I know what you're thinking, but I don't know that I'm thinking what you think that I'm thinking.
Well, you're on the chopping block now.
Yep. All right. Well, now it's tough. I have no reason to pick a quarterback now because I have the whole board available. So I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do,
And we both still need a flex.
I know.
A flex, a tight end, a kicker. You still need a quarterback and a defense.
Right.
Just for the viewers out there.
Right. All right. Don't overthink it. Let me go back to the list. Oh. Give me I'm gonna do it. I can't believe I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna do it. Give me CeeDee Lamb.
Why the hesitation?
Because there's someone else I really wanted to pick, but
yeah,
it was probably it probably was not going to be the smart pick. So I went with the smart pick. What I think will be the smart pick anyway.
Well, I'm just gonna make the decision for you now that it went this way, and I'm gonna take Trey McBride.
All right. Interesting. I mean, just go ahead and
I already know.
just go ahead and give me Brock Bowers.
Laid the egg for you this last week. Can he get back on track this week? Is the question.
It's just the safest bet. It doesn't. I mean, if I didn't go Bowers, who am I taking? Kittle maybe, and then we have tight end versus tight end matchup. That might not have been a bad idea, but
and here's the thing with Brock Bowers. I like that matchup probably the best.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
like his
Dallas picked
matchup
up
way
some
better.
pieces, man.
They did. So they picked up the linebacker from Cincinnati. I don't know why I'm
Wilson.
spacing on his name.
Logan
Wilson
Wilson.
Ryerson. Yeah, okay. And yeah, maybe that makes a difference. Now, after seeing how you know the Raiders were really shut down last week, does Dallas really key in on that same defensive game plan?
Yeah.
But do they have the personnel to do the
Wait, did
same
they
as
who
the Broncos?
they traded for a D lineman too.
Quinnen Williams.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but Dallas's defense isn't exactly known with the same reputation as the Denver defense. Yes, you added a couple
No.
pieces, but I do think that they will intend to guard or defend Brock Bowers a lot,
Hmm.
uh, like Dallas did. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
that's kind of the thing there. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go defense next, and I'm gonna go to the Houston
No.
Texans.
Oh. All right. I think that's not who I had as my first defense, but
That's all
that
right.
works out for me. That definitely works out for me. And who does Houston have this week? Remind me. They play
Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's solid, obviously. Houston's defense is excuse me, is very good. Defensive line, incredible. Um,
They had an
I
interception, a forced
will
fumble last week, and
yeah,
5 sacks against
yeah,
Jacksonville.
yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Uh, quarterback. Quarterback.
This one I had tough. I had a tough
It's
time
tough.
after Josh Allen.
Well, you
It
already
was tough
picked,
for
so
me
I'll
this
just
week.
tell you kind of where my head's at, and it
You
doesn't really
can. I'm
matter.
not
You
going to
don't you're
acknowledge
not
it.
gonna react. I understand. I'm kind of torn between
I will say
Dak.
before you say a word, I will say I will be surprised if we have a similar list um, on this one.
Yeah, okay. Um, I'm kind of torn. I kind of like Dak this week. Um, I kind of look at you, poker face. I like Dak this week. I
Where's my
like
sunglasses
Jalen.
at?
I like Jalen Hurts this week. And I do like Lamar Jackson this week, even though they're playing a pretty tough Cleveland defense, and he didn't practice today, so I'm not sure. But I think give me the Monday Night Football game. Give me Dak Prescott.
That's not a bad pick at all. I mean, Dak Prescott's got
Slinging it.
yeah, I mean, and I've been ragging on George Pickens, but obviously he's been playing, he's been balling out.
Yeah.
So when you got Ferguson, you got CD Lamb, plus you got Javonte Williams running the ball, and then George Pickens stepping up in that number 2 spot, playing awesome. And yeah, he's had a couple down weeks, but yeah, I do think that they get back on track. So I
Yeah.
will tell you, I had Dak as my number 4 quarterback, but even just my top 4, I was really struggling with my top 4 after
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Well, it's
So, and
tough
you'll see
because
why.
there's some tough matchups this week.
Absolutely. So I
Yeah.
go to kicker next.
Yeah.
Is that your pick?
Yeah. Dak.
Yeah.
I picked Dak.
All right. So all I have left is a flex and a kicker. And I think I'm going to go kicker next. And being that the case, I'm going to go with Brandon Aubrey.
Ah. So every time Dak scores, you get a point.
All right, Brandon Aubrey. Yeah, they're in there.
What do I have left?
So you picked your quarterback, you have 2 running backs, you have 3 wide receivers and a tight
Okay.
end. You need a defense and a kicker.
Yeah. All right. Defense. I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I think I. I mean, I.
I'm interested to know who you have for a number 1 defense if it wasn't Houston.
Um, I have Baltimore, but that's just because they're playing the Browns, who can't move the football. I kind of like
And the
San
Ravens did
Francisco.
score a lot of points last week.
Yeah, I kind of like San Francisco against the Cardinals also. But I'll just stick with my first instinct as I put my list together and go Baltimore.
So when I ranked the 49ers defense, just so you know, you will notice I did that before I found out Marvin Harrison is not playing with appendicitis.
Mm,
So, so I actually have the 49ers at number 8, but they
mm.
have now went up the charts farther, even though I have not adjusted my charts. I would say that they're probably higher now with no Marvin Harrison Jr. playing in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, Brissett's actually looked better at quarterback than Kyler Murray, so that's why I was like, all right, let's just stick with Baltimore against Cleveland. That defense is starting to turn it on too.
Well, they're just
Baltimore's
getting
back.
healthy.
Yep, that's
So that's the big change there. All right, so I have a flex position that I have to decide on. This is interesting because you don't have a flex. This is your turn to go poker face.
yeah.
So my options that I'm looking at for my flex position is I actually like Josh Jacobs this week at the
Dumb,
Giants, and
dumb.
I like Jameer Gibbs. So
Even worse.
those two are one of
Stupid.
my options, and I do like Drake London at Carolina as well as Jalen Waddle. So Drake London and
You're
Jalen
leaving the
Waddle.
most obvious one out there.
Well, I don't think so. Well, you're saying Justin Jefferson because he's going to have a comeback game after what happened last week. I do have him
No,
highly ranked, but I don't think that's going to be the breakout. You think Ashton Genty versus Dallas?
dude.
Is that what you're thinking?
No.
Hmm. Well, just taking a look at it. I mean, Gibbs broke out and he had a dang near 40-point game, and it's really hard to not go. But at the same time, Josh Jacobs, Packers only scored 7 points, and before that fumble, he had 22 points going on in
Mhm.
that football game. So it is really tough for me to not pick Josh Jacobs, especially when you don't have a starting quarterback in Jackson Dart playing for the Giants. And I think this could be, I mean, you know how these games go. Um, Hmm. I think I like Josh Jacobs, and that's who I'm going to go with. I know this is weird to take him maybe over Jameer Gibbs after the huge week he had last week, but I think there's going to be a lot of running the ball and touchdown opportunities for Josh Jacobs this week.
All
And I
right.
think the Packers figure it out not at Lambeau because they can't apparently do anything at Lambeau.
Right. All right. Well, I didn't really have anyone. I was just trying to get in your head. But so but I will say the only reason I I Josh Jacobs gets the ball so many times, it's not a bad pick, and they use him at the goal line. So I'm sure you're fine. But I don't love him as much as like Gibbs this week.
It's
Just
tough.
just because the only thing that's been keeping the Giants in the game is that D line. I mean, they have
Hmm.
ballers on defense. When you think about Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, I mean, and then Kayvon Thibodeau, even that's just a
Hmm.
whole defensive line of like top 10 draft picks. It's crazy, and they're all good. Um, so that's the only reason. Like, I wouldn't necessarily love Josh Jacobs this week, which is fine. I'm glad you picked him.
Yeah.
But I I kind of like Amon-Ra, even though they're playing tough Philly defense. And I know I probably wouldn't pick him at all, but I do like Jefferson this week as well because Chicago's defense has been sus, as the kids say.
Absolutely. I have Jefferson pretty high as well. Now, before we talk too much about this, you still need a kicker.
Yeah. Will the thrill. Yeah, we're at home, division. They gotta get points on the board. He's a couple 50-yarders. I'm sticking. He's one of the best kickers in the NFL. There's no reason not to take him.
And I think that's everybody. I got a quarterback, 2 running backs. Oh, am I short a receiver yet? Oh, I have the last pick. Oh, I still need another receiver.
You still need a receiver?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. You set this up.
No.
After all that, wait, who'd you take at receiver?
No, I already told you I wanted Drake London or Jalen Waddle this week. And I think I'm going to go. It's between London and Waddle for me. I mean, that's who I have. I have Jefferson as my number 7 wide receiver. I have London and Waddle as my number 4 and 5. So I'm trying to stay true to my boards. You know, if I'm telling you, the followers out there, who my top individuals are, that's who I'm trying to go with as well. I think, man, is Penix hurt? So he did have an injury at one point during that game. That's the only thing that concerns me.
Steve, what's your take on eggnog?
I hate it.
You hate eggnog?
I'm just I haven't been ever like the taste for me. Just it's not my thing. I get it.
How can you be from the upper Midwest and not like eggnog?
I mean, it was quite easy for me. I mean, I tasted it and didn't like it. So I'm gonna go.
What a great breakdown!
I'm gonna go with Jalen Waddle.
All right.
So Jalen Waddle is my pick. So let me just adjust this real quick. I failed to notice that I was short a wide receiver here. That's the bad part of doing it like this. But
we need a producer,
right? You know, we need more followers out there so we can
follow. Look at me.
Get a producer.
Follow
on this.
Follow. All
right.
Watch.
Follow. So now that we have this, I'll go ahead and I'll put this in a polished format as we're going. Now I'm about to run through the schedule, and Ryan, actually, if you have some you want to mention on the schedule when I go through it, absolutely do so. Other than that, I'm going to roll through our top 15 here in just a minute. So as we get ready for that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the schedule, and Ryan, and I'm actually going to let you lead it off and talk about some key games on the schedule as I get the rest of the charts here loaded up.
All right. Before I do, you got to try Publix eggnog. It's
we don't have Publix.
Where I know you don't have Publix. I understand that, but but when you're ever down here, all right. Jets, Patriots. Well, Drake May, my man crush, has been balling out. He's in the MVP conversation. I don't think that this game is even in question. Obviously, I like the Patriots, and the Jets, no, they're just, I don't know. They just traded away their whole team. I know they had a gutsy performance and came out with a win against that vaunted, who'd they play? The Browns?
Last week?
Hey, win's a win. Win's a win. So, do you want to go every other?
Pick some of the
key. Want me to go down the list?
Yeah, as we're doing this, I mean, key games that you really like, especially fantasy wise.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, the Bucks Bills to me is a really fun matchup, and I know Tampa is coming off a disappointing loss at home against New England, and they have another AFC East opponent back to back going to Buffalo. It's probably going to be a little chilly, but as they're getting healthier, I like Baker Mayfield a lot. The Buffalo Bills don't look like the Buffalo Bills that we've seen in the past. They're also coming off a weird loss against Miami, who they normally own. So that game I'm really looking forward to watching. Buffalo -5.5 seems like a crazy line to me, but I do like the Bills in that game. And then when you go down, we already touched on it a little bit. Seattle versus LA, I think, is the game of the day. That's the one I'm looking forward to even more than Detroit versus Philly.
Yeah. So this shocked me
Division,
when you're
yeah.
talking about Seattle and the Rams. I mean,
Mhm.
those are two teams that really stand out to me. And even if you didn't want to go with that one, and you wanted to highlight another game this week, Detroit and the Eagles are huge ones, but I just want to talk a second about Seattle and the Rams. So
Mhm.
Seattle and the Rams, this shocks me that NFL on Fox is has that game, but they're not featuring that with their A team um,
Really?
commentary team. So you will not have
Oh,
Tom Brady there. Tom Brady's actually going to be at and again, I'm a Vikings fan. We both are, but they're sending the A team to Chicago Bears at Minnesota, which kind of really
and
surprises me with a divisional matchup with two teams with just fireworks type, you know, top players in the league. So, and these are two great teams with good records in Seattle and LA. I'm just really surprised
mm.
that that's not the featured game that you'd put your A team on.
Yeah, I didn't even know that, honestly. That then I agree that is weird. Are are we sure Seattle and LA is a Fox game?
I believe it is. Yeah. I mean, those are two NFC teams. I
I
don't,
know, but they don't that doesn't even they don't do that anymore. Now they play NFC, AFC doesn't.
let me just check here real quick. We'll find out. Yes, that is also a
Yeah.
Fox game.
Okay. Yeah, that is weird. But I mean, okay. Come on. Well, Tom Brady has a crush on JJ McCarthy, so that makes sense a little bit, I
Hmm.
guess. He's probably like, "No, I want to go watch JJ." Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited for that Seattle LA matchup. And then Kansas City Denver might be fun. Kansas City, I don't know, man. I know they're rolling as of late and they have Patrick Mahomes. I still don't love their like roster that much. I think they're still missing a little bit. Their secondary's lacking a little and even their D line outside of Chris Jones. So I don't know. That game might be kind of fun. Because Denver's defense is so solid and they just get after the quarterback. If they could get pressure on Mahomes up the middle, pressure in his face, that's where you can actually disrupt him a little bit.
Now, when we start going into the rest of the charts, this is going to be something that I think is always interesting when we do the ultimate lineup, is because Ryan doesn't know what my charts are. So again, it's great that we have different opinions on some of these players. But as we roll into the top 15 um, for our fantasy 15, by any means, Ryan, if there's something you want to point out once I finish on top of these charts, I'll go ahead and throw it over to you. Josh Allen
Okay.
at Tampa Bay is my number one. Again, Josh Allen, he's who I picked. I had the first opportunity at a quarterback, so I jumped at him against that Tampa Bay defense. Drake May really stands out to me. He's been solid most of the year at the Jets. I do like that one. I think that's also one where the Patriots defense could possibly have some turnovers and put the Patriots in some favorable situations. I do like Justin Herbert, who's really on a roll lately, especially establishing that chemistry that he didn't have earlier in the season with Lad McConkey at Jacksonville, Dak Prescott at Las Vegas. So Ryan did pick Dak, and I do have him in my top five. I think he is sitting on a very good week and bouncing back after two mediocre ones. Um, I have Jalen Hurts in here, and it's just as because Jalen Hurts always finds a way, whether it be running the ball or passing the ball, he finds a way. And I do expect Detroit to put some points on the board where Jalen Hurts is going to have to figure out how to score some points. So no, I'm not expecting 10-7 like what happened or scoreless at halftime with the Packers. I expect some points in this game. Matt Stafford versus Seattle. Matt Stafford's been, another huge game with 4 touchdowns last week. I'm tempted not to put him higher, but Seattle's defense has been coming up with some big plays and playing tough. So it's hard, and maybe I have Matt a little bit too low, but I do like Matt Stafford. Hurts me to say it. Caleb Williams at 7, playing at Minnesota. Yeah, he's really been finding a rhythm lately. And then just kind of rounding it off. Sam Darnold didn't look as good last week, and facing the Rams defense has sacked him 9 times last year when he was with Minnesota. So there's going to be some pressure. I know it's a different offensive line, but that Rams defense really gets after the quarterback. So after a subpar a week last week, even though he didn't have to do too much for them to get the win, I have him at number 10. Goff at Philly. One that stands out to me here, I know 12, Aaron Rodgers only threw for 161 yards last week, but now he gets the Cincinnati defense. And I do think Cincinnati is going to score some points on the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that is one to watch for sure. As you see, I have Joe Flacco at number 9. So I expect some points. Mariota actually put up some points last week, even though a lot of them were catch-up points. I expect him to have some points. He likes to run the ball as well against Miami. I don't have Love very high. After what he's done the last couple of weeks, he even had a bye week to prepare for this last game and just was unimpressive in his last 2 games against Carolina and against the Philadelphia Eagles, both at home, both losses. Again, my spotlight player is number 1, Josh Allen. Threw for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns, and this really wasn't an impressive game for him last week. But he still found a way to put points on the board and almost get 20 yards in our ultimate lineup last week for Ryan. All right, Ryan, any comments on what you see from my top 15?
No, I mean, I probably like Darnold a little more than you.
Mhm.
I don't think his performance last week, his stat sheet didn't look absolutely incredible, but that was because they were up. You blinked your eyes and they were up 28-0. It was, or whatever it was, but they had 2 defensive touchdowns and they pretty much were just coasting after the first half. So.
They did resort to running the ball mostly in the second half. The only thing is he did have a fumble. He did have an interception in that game. So there were some vulnerabilities with getting to Sam Darnold last week. All right, moving on to the running back. Like I said, you sniped me. I do really love Devon Achane this week versus Washington. I have Bijan at number 2 at Carolina. I think he has a bounce back week, and for some reason, I hope Algier maybe comes down with a cold to where he cannot snipe touchdowns from Bijan this week. He had 2 last week that I just share the love, Tyler Algier. If for some reason you see this, Tyler, share the love, man. Christian McCaffrey at Arizona at number 3. I like Josh Jacobs. Again, I mentioned that he had over 20 points before that fumble against the Eagles, and they only scored 7 points in the game. So he did that, and he doesn't need to have a lot of scoring opportunities to still put up points because, like you mentioned, Ryan, he gets the ball in that offense. Jahmyr Gibbs, huge week last week. We're going against this Philly defense. I do think that you're going to see a lot more Montgomery as well in this game, and we'll see. I don't want to say it was a fluke last week, but I just don't see Jahmyr Gibbs getting 3 touchdowns in this game against Philly. I do like Cook against Tampa Bay. I do. I have him high. Just again, Cook's one of those running backs where I think he is able to absolutely explode onto the scene, but because he's with Josh Allen, sometimes Josh Allen takes it in himself. And again, he kind of vultures some touchdowns sometimes from Cook. I do like Genty, and this is possibly an underrated one this week against Dallas because I think that they're going to have to getting a little bit of a track meet. So whether that means receptions or whatnot, I like that. Dowdle Atlanta, and why do I have Gibbs on there twice? Frustrating. But anyways, Javonte Williams at Las Vegas. Quinshon Judkins could have an underrated, sneaky game. There at 11. I do like him. Henderson, you could say I have him too low. It's just will Ramondre Stevenson take carries from him this week versus the Jets? Or do they stick with Henderson? So we'll see what they do there. And then I think Brown versus Pittsburgh. This is one where I struggled as well. I think Brown is actually maybe sitting on a decent game as well. But it's hard. You have only so many spots defined. Other than the double Gibbs, what do you say on this, Ryan?
I mean, it's like, how do you not have Saquon Barkley in the top 15 somewhere? I mean, he's Saquon
It's
Barkley.
easy. It's easy. The guy struggles to get past 50 yards.
Jaylen Warren, Chase Brown over Saquon Barkley.
That Jaylen Warren pick against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not a good defense, and they're going to have to score some points. And I think there's a lot of opportunities for him to get the ball reception-wise for sure.
Stopping the rush too.
I hear you.
That's the only one. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we see differently this week, but it's Saquon freaking Barkley, dude.
We are seeing eye to eye on the wide receiver chart.
Yeah.
So JSN is my number one versus the Rams. Jamar Chase, I mean, you sniped 1 and 2 from me. I couldn't let you snipe 3, which was Puka Nacua. And I do like Drake London this week versus Carolina. I think that's a good matchup for him. And I do really like Jalen Waddle versus Washington. Matchup-wise, that is a win for Jalen Waddle as long as Tua is giving him the targets. CeeDee Lamb at Dallas. What? So that should be versus Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I do have Justin Jefferson. I have him high. That he would be higher if JJ was more accurate with the ball and we didn't see him passing for under 50% last week. I do like Ibuka at Buffalo. I think he's possibly sitting on a sneaky big game where this could be a good game, boom game for him. St. Brown at Philly, he's consistent. That offense is always going to give him what he needs. Devontae Adams, again, that's that Seattle game. That can go a lot of different ways where that can explode for him. Nico Collins, I don't know if CJ is playing this week. That hasn't been determined if he's a for sure go yet, but Nico Collins is one that I like. I don't like Rashee Rice as much just because this is the Denver defense. I do think Rashee Rice is still going to get plenty of targets, probably double digits targets in this one. It's just, he doesn't do a whole lot of long receptions. He has a lot of different shorter routes that he runs. So he is sometimes almost a touchdown dependent type receiver sometimes as far as bumping up his points. So do they get as many opportunities or are they left kicking field goals? That's just the thing for me. I do think that Devontae Smith has a sneaky game in him over AJ Brown. There's just a lot of drama between AJ Brown going on right now, and if I'm on that team, he came out in fantasy. There was a question to him as far as what would you tell fantasy owners, that have you on their team. He says, drop me, and just there's just a lot of negativity, and I'm not expecting a player to care what fantasy owners do, but just the drama on social media or to reporters, just do your damn job, step out and support your teammates. That's a winning team right now. You just came off of a win, albeit a frustrating one. That's just crazy. So I do see a couple of comments in there, Frosty and Abbas. I do see it. We'll get to you on that one. If you have any sit, start, or trade scenarios, please make sure that you send it in chat on X or YouTube. We're going to get to that right after our charts. All right. So any Anything on this one, Ryan?
No, I mean, I think I like the list for the most part. Um, yeah, I mean, I think AJ Brown is probably the number one there, but he has been throwing to Devontae a lot too,
All
so
right. Just
I don't
not
have a
getting the
problem. I don't
targets.
have a problem with any of it.
All right. So moving on to the tight ends. I got Trey McBride at number one. I like the matchup better for Brock Bowers. It's just a question of, did Denver just scheme him perfectly? Was it
Mhm.
Geno that just went away from him? And can Dallas replicate the success that Denver had? I definitely think that they're going to watch that tape and try to replicate it for sure. So I really do like Trey McBride. Now, this is interesting. So just like I had thought that Arizona would maybe do a little bit better in this
Mhm.
game. They started finding some success with Marvin Harrison Jr. last week, and now with appendicitis, he had surgery. He won't be playing in this game. So, is that good for Trey McBride, or is that a negative? Now, does that mean that he will see more targets? Well, I think he's also going to see more
Mhm.
attention, just like Brock Bowers does in that Raiders uh, offense. So I don't know. How do you see that one, Ryan?
Um,
Is
no,
that
I
is that a
think
plus for him?
yeah. He's so good. I don't think it's gonna matter.
Sure. Well, I got Gadsden. I do think George Kittle is a good matchup as well this week. Sam Laporta, Godert, Ferguson. I think Kyle Pitts, maybe it could be sitting. I mean, he's got a good matchup, so we'll see what he does with that. I think Travis Kelsey is actually, this is one of those games where I think it's a grinded out type of game where I think Patrick is really going to rely and need Travis Kelsey to really have some big catches in this one. So I think he's going to be utilized a little bit more than he typically is in this game. Um, Other ones I really like, Zach Ertz. I think he's just been targeted quite a bit, and I think Mariota loves him in that offense. So I do like him in that one. Mark Andrews, man, he's showing some. He's making sure people know that he's still there. He got a touchdown again last week. He's definitely starting to come alive with Lamar Jackson back. I mean, that's his safety blanket in that offense for Lamar Jackson. So I do like him in there as well. So again, my spotlight player was Trey McBride last week, 9 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown. That's huge numbers for a tight end. So
Mhm.
he's my number one again this week. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with the list. I like Loveland this week, maybe a little more, but that's about it.
Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to our kickers, which I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on, but I like Aubrey in this one. Dicker was good for me last week as well. I really like Eddie Pinero. Will Reichard, love him as well. Chase McLaughlin, he should be set up for a lot of points. Boswell and McPherson. I like that Cincinnati Pittsburgh match. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that matchup. And then, some sneakier ones that are sitting out there is Cam Little. And I think Daniel Carlson versus Dallas could be one that has a lot of points scored via field goal in it. And then, of course, Mac Prater versus Tampa Bay. And again, that's whether or not they get in the end zone. But I think Buffalo is going to have several opportunities to score the ball, whether it be field goals or touchdowns. And that's my list for kickers.
Say the last name for number 15.
Borregales.
Is that how you say it?
That's what I'm going with. I've heard it pronounced a couple different
Borgales.
ways. Um, he's the kicker for the Patriots and versus the
Yeah.
New York Jets. He's been doing a really good job, and I think that's just Drake May, Trayvon Henderson had a big week last week. I think
Mhm.
that's a really good matchup for Borregales. Again, not good enough to put him. He's rising. He's rising a little bit on my charts. So we'll go ahead and
Borgales.
we'll go ahead and jump in to the defense. So I had Houston, the Texans, as my number one defense facing the Tennessee Titans. And I don't think there's a whole lot to say. I mean, last week they had 26 points allowed. Yeah, I mean, there were some garbage points that were in there, but had an interception, forced fumble, and 5 sacks. Really good defensive play. From this team most of the year. They're towards the top as far as defenses go. Patriots versus the Jets is who I thought you might go with. But then when you started talking about the Ravens and the 49ers, now the 49ers rised on my chart after Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to be in the game. But Patriots, and then I do like the Packers, this week. No Jackson Dart in that game. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I mean, the Packers, say what you will.
Jameis Winston, baby.
Say what you will about the Packers. The defense, at least, has been doing their part. So it just the offense hasn't been stepping up. So I think the Packers defense, though, will have a decent game, even though, it feels weird even saying that. But Bears at Minnesota, it's hard not to say that the Bears defense might score some fantasy points with the way that we've been turning the ball over in Minnesota. So that's why I have them at number 5. Chiefs at Denver. I don't know. I mean, there's people that are super high on Bo Nix. I'm just not one of them. Could he be some good? He's just so up and down, and he has a lot more meh games and down games than he has those huge boom games.
You are not a believer.
I am not a believer, at least in fantasy. That's for sure. I know they're 7-2, so don't come at me. I don't care about this is a fantasy show. This has nothing to do with their record and wins. Falcons in Carolina, and again, 49ers, Chargers are higher. Cowboys at Las Vegas could be a sneaky one in there too. And then I talked about it a little bit. The Rams versus Seattle as well. Ryan, thoughts on the defensive charts?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I don't know. The Bears defense, I know that the Vikings offense hasn't been great, but the Bears defense has been, outside of some turnovers that they've had, they have not been very good. So.
I get it. But, so some points might be scored, but you got a team that has been getting some turnovers, and you got a team that's been giving turnovers.
It's true.
And been allowing a lot of sacks. So that equals fantasy points. So unfortunately, taking the bias out of it, I would have to say, yeah, if the Bears, playing Minnesota, I would tell you, hey, they're probably one of the higher defensive teams this week until the Vikings as a team can show you that they can protect the ball. Really.
No, I get it.
All right. So before we get into our best bets, we're going to go ahead and jump into some of these comments. If you guys have more comments, go ahead and give it to us. We'll try to answer them best we can. Hey, 6-2 Nation, you're back again. Salute. Hey, hopefully.
Hey, happy belated Veterans Day, by the way.
Absolutely. Exactly what I was going to say. So for all of our veterans out there, thank you for your service. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their Veterans Day and were able to celebrate that in the way that they saw fit with maybe loved ones, friends, and family that they maybe have that are either currently serving or have served. So again, thank you all for your service that are out there that are serving our country. Definitely appreciate it. All right, Abbas Ramtula says, I traded Breece Hall for Ladd McConkey. Good or bad trade? Depending on your lineup, I like that trade.
Yeah. Ladd's really been coming on strong as of late. So if you got him low by trading Breece, who was kind of unhappy with the Jets, wanted out. I don't hate the trade at all.
And honestly, right now the Jets offense, being that Breece Hall didn't get traded, that offense, does it revolve around him? But there's a lot of, they're not moving the ball down the field, which means less opportunities for him to possibly get you touchdowns. So you're really relying on him running and getting yards for you and getting receptions.
Herbert's balling.
Yeah, and Brees is scoring points, and he's still a good player. So if you're in dynasty or keeper leagues, I mean, obviously I like Brees Hall, and he may be on a different team next year. Um, but for sure, when we're talking about this season, for sure, yeah, I
Yeah.
love that trade.
And uh especially if you're even a half point or full point PPR, then it's obviously a really good trade.
Frosty says, yo, Frosty. He says, buy low on AJ Brown at all.
That's tough. He hasn't shown anything. Like, and there's just been turmoil in the locker room. So I mean,
Like
I
the
get the
Vikings
premise
game,
of it. Yeah, well, yeah. I
that's
get the
about the only game.
premise. I just I don't know, man. They have a different, like different their offense is different this year than it was last year. So I don't know. I probably if it depends on what you trade for them, but if you can trade them for a pack of Cracker Jacks, then maybe. But I wouldn't go out of my way to go get AJ Brown right now.
So depending on the type of league you are, I'm saying this from a position that I did buy low on AJ Brown in one of my leagues. That was a dynasty league. And I do think that AJ Brown is a number one. Like Ryan talked about, he is still the number one on that Eagles team, even though he's not getting the volume right now. And really, is anyone on that team? They have weeks where, they're just not passing the ball. But AJ Brown, I do like him in dynasty or keeper leagues. Uh, yeah, I mean, there's a good chance that he's on a different team next year, and whoever he goes to, he's probably going to be their one and most likely get more volume than what he's getting with a very run centric team that has Jalen Hurts, who's a running quarterback, and Saquon Barkley. So if you're in dynasty or keeper leagues, which is the trade that I made, I do like that because right now, AJ Brown owners are frustrated in that. If you're just in a 1 year standard type league, yeah, I'm with Ryan. Maybe stay away from that one, depending on what someone's willing to take for them, depending how low they want to go.
Right.
And Frosty says, I'm in a 10-man redraft, start 8 PPR league, and my quarterback is Nix and Dart. Well, Dart's not happening this week. Brown, Henderson, Marks, and Judkins. Receivers are CD, London, Tez, Keenan, Ridley, tight end Kittle. Who should I package to upgrade at running back receiver?
Oh,
Well,
um,
Frosty, can you play a flat? Oh yeah, sorry, he did answer this. Oh, he can play
yeah.
2 running backs, 2 receivers, and 2 flexes
hmm
and 1 tight end. So, um, hmm.
I go maybe. Uh, it depends on who you're trying to get. Like if you're trying to get Jameer Gibbs or something, then you're probably gonna have to give up quite a bit. Like so, which I assume you're maybe
I,
just looking for a slight upgrade. But if you could do something like off the top of my head, Judkins and Tez maybe for like a Brees Hall. I kind of maybe like that because that upgrades your running backs a little. But I don't know.
I'd actually like to go a different way, and can you put package like a Marks and a Tez or a Marks and a Ridley, and try to upgrade your receiver position?
hmm
Um, if you could get something, say like a, now I gotta try to think of a receiver that would be value wise around that area. Um, Let me see here. Let's take a look at my charts here real quick. I just want to throw up
What
a
do you think of
name.
like yeah? What do you think of like Judkins?
Maybe even a Nico Collins. You might be able to steal on a buy low type thing, or a Devonte Smith, maybe something like that. Parker,
Mhm.
because those are buy low options right now. If you were to get rid of Marks and Ridley, um, a Nico could be had. And I'm just saying that because Nico has not been playing good. and I shouldn't say he hasn't been playing good, hasn't been scoring well in fantasy.
Yeah. I'll tell you guys that you could probably target. How about this? Guys that I would maybe try to make a play for with that roster would be maybe like a Rico Dowdle. I really like him for the rest of the season. So, what do you think, Steve, it would take with that lineup to get Rico?
Mm. Uh, yeah, you're probably going to have to give up at least one of your starting running backs. So, I mean, it's possible you could try to trade Brown to get him. But I actually still like Brown the rest of the year. Flacco has that offense moving. So I would stay away from that. Travion Henderson in the Ramondre Stevenson backfield still is kind of a conundrum to me. So maybe
Yeah.
that's your move, is taking Travion Henderson, who's coming off of a buy high maybe after this last
Mm-hmm.
week, where you could take Travion Henderson and package him with like a Ridley to try to get a Rico Dowdle,
Yeah.
and maybe that would work.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can do something like that, then I would like it for you to be able to plug in a Rico. I like Rico the rest of the year.
Don't trade CD. Don't trade London. To me, CD, London, and Brown and Judkins, I would not change.
Brown
Anyone? Yeah.
depends on what you're getting. Like,
Yes, I get that. I'm just saying, I think those are your cornerstones, because
yeah,
he has two flexes that he can do too.
right.
So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, Tez Johnson, um, I'm okay letting him go because I think Godwin might even be back this week.
Yeah. Anyways, 100 pounds. It's gonna
Yep.
break in half.
So I'm okay getting rid of Tez. Keenan's the number 3 receiver in that offense, and Ridley, and I think Marks and Hendo are all trade candidates. So whatever you can package those individuals for, I think go ahead and do it.
There you go.
And his trade deadline is this week as well. So
Mm.
if you guys have any more questions, start trade questions, go ahead, ask them away. Before we get into more of those questions, we'll give you some time. We're going to go ahead and jump into our best picks format that we have. We're going to take a look at how we did last week, and this is tough for me to admit, but I did not do well last week.
Hmm.
I went 1-4 again in back-to-back weeks. I didn't win on Saints Panthers. I didn't win on Bills Dolphins. I got my one win on Detroit and Washington, but Pittsburgh and LA, the points just, Steelers were abysmal on offense. And then I was surprised that Davis Mills came out and played as good of a game as he did, and Houston ended up
Oh, you
winning that
got
game.
screwed on that game.
Yeah, yeah.
The last play of the game, if he just goes down. Oh.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I 1-4 last week, so my overall record is 9-11. So it could have been better, but it kind of is what it is. That's kind of the name of the game. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. It wasn't a good week for me. Ryan, on the other hand, did have a winning. He was on the winning side of things for back-to-back weeks, 3-2 again. So I went 1-4 back-to-back. He went 3-2 back-to-back. I'll let you talk about Ryan.
Yeah, well, I started out the gates real hot because within the first window, I was 3-0, and I was like, oh, we might be looking at something here. And then I lost the next two. So the momentum kind of died off, but that's okay. We were head to head in that Saints Panthers game. You like the Panthers to cover. Like I said, I like to bet the trends, and the trend is that Panthers, if they're favored, they're gonna lose. So I took the Saints in that one. Didn't need the points because they You could have bet money line and you still would have won, but hey, it is what it is. Lions, we piggybacked you on that one, so that was the one that I'm glad I piggybacked you on. And then the Saints or the Patriots and the Bucks over, I think it ended up at like 52. So hey, nice hit there. And then obviously the Steelers didn't cover because the Chargers blew them out. And oh god, the worst over pick I've ever had. 10-7 wasn't even close, so forget that.
Yeah, that wasn't happening at all. When it was 0-0 at halftime.
No, it was
That's when you know things are going bad.
Yeah, it was really easy for me to fall asleep Monday night at least.
Yeah, you didn't have
I knew I didn't have to worry about it. I knew it was dead.
No heart attack there. All right, we're gonna have you jump into your week 11 best bets. In week 11, again, you're 11-8. You're on the winning side of things. So talk us through your best bets for week 11.
Yeah, Bucks, Bills, at Buffalo. I hate making this pick this early in the week just because weather and it can affect things a lot in Buffalo. But as long as it's a decent day out, I do like the over in that game. I think Bills really get it rolling, and Baker probably has a big fourth quarter, and I like the over in that game. San Fran, I like them to cover against the Cardinals. They know they got to put away those kinds of games if they want to stay in the playoff hunt, and I think they're going to come ready to play. Washington, Miami under 47.5. I don't think that Commanders can score enough to go on over. So that's all that really is right now is Miami controls the ball, controls the clock, and really just kind of puts it away early to where they're just kind of run the clock out on that one. So Tennessee plus 6.5. I know that's kind of crazy. Like, what are you doing taking Tennessee in any game? But they're at Tennessee. Houston's offensive line is suspect to say the least, and Tennessee can bring a little bit of pressure on defense at least. So I think they can at least keep it close. Am I taking them to win? By no means. Take the points. And then Seattle at the Rams. I just got to bet this game because I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be closer than Vegas does because they have it at 3.5. I think Seattle can keep that game real close and make it come down to the last second.
I was really nervous about so I was looking at the San Fran Cardinals game as well, and I was thinking about, can I pick the under and can I pick San Francisco to win? But so after Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be out of the lineup, that significantly hurts Arizona's chances in this game as far as scoring points. I definitely like. I was really surprised by your Tennessee pick. Your Tennessee by 6.5. That's the most interesting one to me out of your picks. So if that one hits, props to you. That's a hell of a pick. If you end up hitting on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think Houston's going to be scoring a ton of points either. So I think Tennessee will at least be able to score enough to keep it relative one score game.
Sure. So, as far as my best bets, I'm on the losing side. I need to get back on the winning side, so I need at least a 3-2, if I can, 4-1, to try to just get back to 500. But I'm hoping to sweep the table. We'll see how I do. Detroit Lions at Philadelphia Eagles. I like Detroit in this game. Hey, I'll take the Detroit to cover with that 2.5 spread. I do think this is going to be a good game to watch. San Francisco at Arizona. I'm going to take the under 48.5. Heck yeah. I don't think between these two ball clubs that 48.5 is happening. I'll also take the under that 50.5 under between the Cowboys and the Raiders. And the Chargers at Jacksonville, I like the Chargers. I like the way that they're playing right now. And, I don't think that Jacksonville has enough firepower to handle the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers. They just have to beat them by a field goal. So I'm hoping the Chargers get me a win this time. Bengals at Pittsburgh. So I kind of like Cincy to win this game, but I do think that they're going to cover the 5.5. I do think that this will end up being a closer game, but I don't think it's going to be I think it's going to be like a 3.1 point type game where it comes down to like a field goal or someone needs a touchdown to win the game type scenario. So I just think I like the spread on this one. That's why I went with Cincinnati plus 5.5 on this one. Thoughts on that one, Ryan?
Yeah. No, I mean, we'll see. I think I do like the Cincinnati Pittsburgh matchup there. I think Cincinnati can keep it close.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Yeah, I just think Cincinnati's got some firepower, on the team, and Joe Flacco's been able to really channel that. And we did get some news. Yeah, absolutely. And we did get some news. It sounds like Joe Burrow is possibly looking at being back in the lineup and starting again around week 14, week 15. So it's going to be the Joe Flacco show for at least another 3 to 4 weeks. So, if you got him in your lineup, keep starting him. I think Joe Flacco is a must start in most quarterback situations, just with how he's been playing. I mean, he's been throwing over 300 yards in almost every game,
Sure.
Multiple touchdowns, and just, he's got weapons with his receivers. So I definitely like that for sure. All right, we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to pull this up because we talked about it before. We had our ultimate lineup between Ryan and I. We started off the show with that to make sure that Ryan wasn't cheating off my homework and taking my top 15. But no, just making sure that there was no competitive advantage gained. And so we started the show off the ultimate lineup. So I just want to go ahead and show you guys the actual wrap or finalized product of what that looks like. So you ended up going with Devon Achane first at running back. So,
let's go.
I went with CMC this week. I don't know how I felt about that pick. I don't think that was maybe the best use of my pick, but I went with Josh Allen, CMC, Bijan, Puka-Nacua, like Jalen Waddle this week against Washington. Trey McBride, who was a stud last week with 127 yards and a touchdown. No Marvin Harrison Jr. I just think he's got to get the targets this week. I do like Josh Jacobs, albeit the Giants. I think that, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for him to get the ball, and especially red zone opportunities. Come on, Packers, get in the red zone this week. Brandon Aubrey, hey, he's a reliable kicker, and this week Dallas should get on the right side of the offensive scoreboard this time. And then I do like the Texans this week facing off against Tennessee. Ryan, do you want to talk about your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dak has a favorable matchup against the Raiders, and then Achane as well. The Commanders haven't been able to stop anything. I like Saquon versus Detroit as much as you don't. They don't do great against the run, and I think Philly's going to make a conscious effort to really pound the rock this week. JSN, his production speaks for itself. It's been all year. It's been consistent. He's absolutely crushing it. Chase gets 500 targets a game. It's crazy. That's where he throws. That's where Flacco's looking on every play. So, and he can get the ball to him. So, excuse me. So I like Chase a lot. Bowers, the only player they have to throw to, so it's kind of a no-brainer. And then CD, again, they got a pretty favorable matchup this week, so I think the Dak to CD combo goes a long way. And then Will the Thrill, he's been lights out as long as there's not a camera wire in the way. And the Ravens defense, again, they got they got a nice matchup this week versus Cleveland. So I think that they can really maybe create some havoc and some turnovers while they're up big in the second half.
Well, one of the takeaways I could see from looking at our two lineups is if Brandon Aubrey's doing really well for me, that hopefully means that Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are not getting in the end zone. So I'm really hoping that that's really a thing that helps. I really like your team this week. I think you have a great opportunity of scoring a lot of points. So I think it'll be a tough one for me this week. You got to pick first, and I felt like you sniped me at least 3 times during this ultimate lineup. Like I said, you picked my number 1 running back, you picked my number 1 and my number 2 wide receivers, and so I just think you did a really good job. Your kicker was towards the top in my top 4. Your quarterback was in my top 4. Bowers was my number 2 tight end. Ravens was my number 4 defense. I think Lamb was my number 5 or 6 wide receiver. I mean, just a really solid lineup from you. So I thought you did an excellent job. So it's gonna be tough to beat. It's gonna be tough to beat you. I'm gonna need a little bit of luck this week, I think.
Don't patronize me.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump into some more comments that you guys might have. Frosty's back, says, I don't know if I want to play Knicks this week. I see Purdy and Flacco on waivers.
Nah, I think I know it's the Chiefs, right? So I mean I get what you're saying, but just because he runs the ball so much, I don't think you take him out for a guy like Purdy or Flacco. You got to play him just for his ability to run one in, if he throws for one and runs for one, you're probably going to end up with 20 points or more, and that's very possible even against the Chiefs, whose defense isn't very good, especially in the middle of the field.
I mean, I will say this: if I had Knicks and Flacco on my team, I'm starting Flacco this week. That's me. So I mean, if you had an extra spot, this is just me speaking. As you noticed on my quarterback charts, I did not have Bo Nix. So
that's true.
He's going against
I don't like Bo Nix a whole lot
this week, and I do like Joe Flacco against the Pittsburgh defense, who's been giving up a lot of points. So if you have room on your team, I do like picking up Joe Flacco and starting him this week over Bo Nix.
So to sum it up, Frosty, we're not a lot of help right now because we don't agree.
Mom and Dad are fighting right now. Jason Ortiz on YouTube says, will you trade Vidal? He's got Hampton. Tet, he's got Rico for any of these running backs. Hall, Judkins, Jalen Warren, ETN, Swift, Aaron Jones. My current running back is Rico, Hampton, White. Bucky's back soon. Kamara, Pollard. Oof. So I like Rico. Man, yeah, you're in a little bit of a pickle at running back.
The problem is do
you have Vidal? Does he have Vidal? Is that what he's saying?
He's got Hampton. Vidal. Yeah. The reason out of all those, I like ETN probably the most, if not Breece Hall. So if you're gonna do it, put something together for, I would say, Hall or ETN. Those are my 2 favorites out of the bunch. The thing with Swift is they're using Monangai so much now that his value's gone down. Aaron Jones has a hard time staying healthy. Jalen Warren, I don't know. He's been blah. I do like Judkins too, but I like Hall and ETN a little bit more. That's all that boils down to.
Yeah, I like Judkins. I like ETN. It's all just about what you can actually trade for. So I'd have to look at the rest of your team to see what you have for like trade pieces. So, but I do like I like Judkins. Jalen Warren's not bad either, but Judkins, I like Breece Hall and ETN. Swift, I just with Monangai there is, he's eating into some carries now with Swift, even though Swift's been getting his lately. That's just something to watch. Yeah. So I think for the most part, I think Ryan are kind of on the same page on that. Jason also says start one quarterback this week: Mariota, Rodgers, Geno, Tua, or Brissett. I don't like Brissett. I don't, if I had to pick out of those, man,
Tua.
yeah, probably Tua this week right now. Now Rodgers is going against what is typically a sieve in the defense of Cincinnati, but man, it's hard to start him after that last week where he was just pitiful.
Yeah.
So that is, something I guess to kind of take a look at. Yeah.
I'd probably go Tua out of that list. Ugh.
Yeah,
What a list. I'm
it's
so
not a great one.
sorry to what happened to you in your league to where you have to start one of those guys.
Yeah, that's not a good one at all.
It's rough.
I did want to take a look at something real quick. Because I think they already did, and yes, they did. So the last time that Pittsburgh played the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Flacco was the quarterback as well, and Joe Flacco threw for 3 touchdowns for 342. Just so those of you out there, Chase Brown ran for 108. Jamar Chase had 161 yards and a touchdown last time they played, and then T. Higgins also had 96 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Warren had 127 yards, just so you guys know. But Aaron Rodgers did throw 4 touchdowns in that game. He threw 2 picks, but he did throw 4 touchdowns. So,
did we take the over?
I don't think either of us took the over in that game. I did take Cincinnati because it was 5.5. Pittsburgh 5.5. So I took Cincinnati plus 5.5, basically to cover. So those are just some stats for you. So I don't mind. I like Rodgers and probably Tua out of that list. Start one this week. More quarterbacks. Jason Ortiz. Bo Nix, Rodgers, Purdy, and maybe stack with Ricky.
I know Pearsall came back to practice like this week, or today maybe, but I don't know that he's still going to play still.
Yeah, I just haven't seen enough out of that list. I'll go Rodgers out of that.
Yeah, I'd still probably go Bo Nix just because he runs the ball.
And Jason Ortiz still going strong here. He's got 3 quarterbacks. He's got Jones, who he used weekly, Dak for this week, and Joe Burrow. Yeah. Should I drop to pick up a handcuff this time of year? Spears, Gainwell, Sharon Tucker, Emmanuel Wilson, Judy.
Can you trade? No. I mean,
you have 3 quarterbacks.
Should you drop one to pick up a handcuff? No, I'm not like my philosophy for fantasy. I'm not a big handcuff guy, so no. I know it's weird to keep 3 quarterbacks on your roster, but you just never know.
I'm not a handcuff guy either. I mean,
Joe Burrow could come back and just start balling out, dude.
The only handcuffs I like keeping, because I have them on my team, is if you're Seattle and you have either Seattle running back and you can have both. I would take both Seattle running backs. The other handcuff I love is Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. So I have Bijan, so I have Tyler Algier. And if you're Miami and you have Devon Achane, then yes, you're going to want a handcuff as well. So if you have those type of running backs that maybe have injury prone, CMC is another one. Yes, I would have a handcuff for those. Outside of that, no. Which tight end is the best? Theo Johnson, might start Wandell. Strange, Njoku, or Musgrave out of that list. I don't like the Theo Johnson just because I don't know what I'm gonna get this week. So that's one thing to think about. Probably Musgrave or Njoku, to be honest, for me.
Yeah, I like Njoku. He scored last week. He looked good.
Avery Chapman on YouTube says, should I trade Henry and ETN for Cook and Monangai? I already have CMC and Warren. So it depends on the
You're
type of
trading. You're
league.
not Hunter Henry. I assume Derrick Henry and ETN for Cook and Monangai.
I think that's probably what he's looking at.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
So Henry has had a down year, but ETN I think
Yeah.
has been solid. But he already has CMC and Warren, so I mean that's not a bad option if you could get Cook in there too.
Yeah, that's true. If you're starting CMC, Cook, and Monangai or Warren, it's pretty solid.
I mean, I just don't think that that's a huge upgrade. So I mean, that's one that you'd be like, man, yeah, he said it is Derrick Henry. So
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I mean, Lamar Jackson just got back. I think Derrick Henry will start turning it on and getting better than what he has been. So there is
No way.
that. Yeah. So I
Do
think
the
there
trade.
is. So I think there is
CMC
that.
Cook together would be nasty.
That is good. So you do have a bigger boomer bust with CMC and Cook. The Monangai one for me is still a mystery. I just don't know how
Yeah.
much with the share. Whereas Henry and ETN are the for sure ones for their team. So
Yeah.
that's all I see right now for the comments. So I appreciate everyone in the chat for all the comments that you've had so far. Hopefully you guys like the format that we had this week. Again, the ultimate lineup. Go ahead and put in the comments too. Hopefully you guys like best bets segments that we have, the ultimate lineup that we bring you. But the top 15 charts, let us know. I mean, are they helping you win your league? Are they helping you win week in, week out? Please send us your sit, start, trade questions during the week too. So if you follow us on X, Fantasy FB or Fantasy 15 FB, you can go ahead and comment on those and send us sit, start, trade scenario questions, and we'd love to take those too. I'll probably have some posts out there for you guys to message us on that format as well too, if you would like. And Ryan and I will try to do our best to answer those for you as well too during the week as they come. But other than that, every week, Ryan and I are going to try to bring this to you every Wednesday at 9:30 Central Standard Time. So hopefully you guys have had a good week. Veterans Day was hopefully good, and hopefully this week in week 11 is going to be good for you. Any final comments that you have, Ryan?
No. I mean, thank you everyone. Please continue to watch, follow, ask questions, and maybe as we get going, we'll even be able to like bring people on or something as we do and ask questions live. That might be kind of cool, or get their opinion. But just huge shout out to all you. We have noticed a growth in this thing, and we really want to keep the momentum and keep it going. And if you have any suggestions at all, just let us know.
Yeah, and when we started this thing, and I wanted to get a fantasy football league going with not just Ryan and I, but also with followers. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely next year, I would like to get some individuals that are into fantasy football that maybe want to do a fantasy football league that we would actually highlight during the show as well too. So as long as you don't mind, um, they have to be semi appropriate fantasy football team names. We'll just kind of highlight those rankings, whether I'm at the top or the bottom, or however well Ryan and I are doing. But I think that would be fun to kind of do within and kind of show how we're doing. And then another thing that I think Ryan and I want to do next year is also just pick games and highlight that. And who knows, maybe that's a fun little league that we do with some other shows or some other people on there too, or maybe even with you followers as well. So I did get one final question that I do want to answer. Should I trade Debo Samuel and Aaron Jones for Wandale Robinson and DK Metcalf? Ryan, I'll let you have first crack at that one.
No, just don't. No, Debo. I mean, I don't know if Daniels is going to come back this season, but they're talking about him already, like being ready to practice or something. So if he comes back, Debo's more valuable, and Aaron Jones has been. They've been using him a lot. I wouldn't do it. I just DK's too inconsistent. I mean, he's very hit or miss. He drops balls. And then Wandale, there's just a lot of questions with that team.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Ryan on this one. And depending on how you're sitting for running back, I do like Aaron Jones, especially now that he's been back from injury. I think the Vikings are using him differently than what they did at the start of the year. And I do like how he's been since he's been back on the team. So he says he does have Gibbs, Henry, and Javante. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but what do you update? What are you upgrading a receiver? Like, should
Well,
like I get
he'd get what do you have at receiver, Slugger? Real quick, if you can type that.
or I still I think you could get more. That's all. Like if you already have those three solid running backs and your receivers are just trash, then take one of those running backs and Debo Samuel and get a real good wide receiver.
maybe take Henry.
Yeah, take Henry and you could end up with a guy like Lad McConkey or something.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's maybe a better way to go with it too. So I appreciate the question, Slugger Casey. Absolutely. I mean, at this time of year, especially when you're trying to make those final trades, before you kind of get locked in, headed into the playoffs. Absolutely. So send those questions our way. Slugger does say that my wideouts are Garrett Wilson, Dubs, Troy Franklin, and McLaurin. Oof.
Well,
Okay,
Garrett Wilson. I mean,
I see where he's
so
going.
you're starting Garrett Wilson, Debo Samuel, and then your three running backs. I don't know. That's solid. I don't think you need to. If you're really looking to upgrade wide receiver though, then I guess I would pair like a Derrick Henry and go after like a Lad McConkey or something like that. Like I said,
Who knows,
still
man?
don't think you should trade for DK and Wandale.
I mean, back to this question: could you maybe trade Henry, Samuel? And I'm sure that you probably have someone else on here that you could maybe trade, but McLaurin is maybe coming back here too. Could you take McLaurin as well and flip him for someone more reliable and get like a Lad McConkey, and then also maybe you're able to snipe someone that like a Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
something like that. Something like that. I like a lot more than that scenario that you gave. I understand what you're trying to do and upgrade your receiving room, but my QB's
I just had to laugh at that one. Hey, Slugger. I mean, it is what it is. He's got Brissett and Burrow. You know what? Burrow, if you can if you can hobble your way to the playoffs, Burrow will be back for you. I mean, Love hasn't been working, but Brissett, if he gets back, he's actually been scoring okay when he's got Marvin Harrison, and a lot
I'll
of
pick
that
up JJ McCarthy if he's available. Not to
has
be
been some
biased, but he
garbage.
runs the ball.
Yeah, a lot of those points for Brissett has been garbage, and good point. He does run the ball. He does. He has a couple of running touchdowns as well too. So that is a possibility. He says he's got a 4-6 record. Yeah. So swing big, because you're either not making the playoffs or you got to swing big and you got to win out probably to make it. So, yeah, he says he's got Dart as well as quarterback. So
that's tough.
Yeah, swing big. If you could package, Love even for somebody, I would do it. Love, Henry, take those guys and Debo and try to make something better like a lad and bring in a couple different pieces. I think you could probably get away with, a Brissett and Dart until you get to the playoffs, unless there's someone else that's hanging out there
How
on your
long is
waiver.
Dart going to be out?
That's a concussion, so he should be back next week, probably.
He was in his like third concussion this year already.
I'm not sure how many he has. But
Just
all right.
kidding.
I think that's about all the time we have. Ryan, any final thoughts other than the
Nope.
ones you had before? All right.
Mm-mm.
Hey, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate all the questions. And Slugger Casey, it's the first time I've seen you on here. Avery, thank you again. Jason, Frosty, Six Shooter, and Abbas. I appreciate all your guys' questions. Thanks for tuning in again. And make sure that you're following us, like us on social media as well. And spread the word. Retweet some of our tweets if you can. Help us get bigger if you can. So appreciate all the love. Week 11. Good luck, everyone, for the Fantasy 15. I'm Steve. He's Ryan. Thanks again. Good luck this week.
Go drink some eggnog.